Hey, what is up you guys? I've noticed on the mouse review subreddit that a couple of you guys are trying to find a tutorial on how to install a paracord cable on the Xtrfy M42. So I decided to install one and record it, and I will guide you through the process. So let's start with removing the 4 screws underneath the 2 mouse feet. Okay, so now to take apart the shell, I put my fingernail in between the 2 parts and just wiggle it through, and it will eventually pop off. Now before pulling it apart, you will notice that it's connected with a little cable. You could just pull it out. There we go. And I'll put it aside for a moment. Okay, so now we're gonna take out the PCB. It's secured with 3 screws. One here, and the third one is above the scroll wheel. So just carefully take them out. Come on, magnetic tip. Whatever. Okay, last one. Okay, there we go. Now we can carefully lift the PCB. Okay, so to remove the old cable, you can just pull on the wires, but there's a chance that you will damage the old cable. So try to pull it out on the connector, and if you don't have enough space with your fingers, you can take off this little plastic piece, the scroll wheel. It's secured with 4 little pins. You can just pull it off and put it on back later, so you have a bit more space for your fingers to take off the old cable. There we go. Okay, so now we're gonna start with routing the new cable on the bottom plate. There's some little plastic pieces on which you can route the cable. It's quite an annoying process, but eventually you will find the correct path. Okay, so let's check if the PCB still fits on. And it looks like it does. Okay, so now we're gonna shrink our first heat shrink on the cable. This is the one that's on the end of the cable, which prevents the wires from being pulled through the sleeving. I always do this before I always test if the cable fits before I melt it, because sometimes there's not enough space and you can't really use it. But on this one there's more than enough space. So put the heat shrink on the edge, heat it up. And on this piece there's a bit of glue. So when it melts, you have like 10 seconds to kind of squeeze it to get a secure fit on the inner wires. So let it cool down for a couple of seconds, and then we have to route the cable again because we're gonna make the stress relief. Okay, so now slide the long heat shrink towards the part that exits the mouse. There's a little space on which it fits. Just try to make it fit, and then take the cable with the heat shrink on the correct position, and now we're gonna heat up that one as well. There's also glue on the inside of this heat shrink, so after you've heated it up, you have like a couple of seconds to create a shape. For this one, I just like to keep it as straight as possible. That's why I'm letting it cool down like this. It will stay straight, it will not bend. Just gonna check if it still fits without any problems. Letting it cool down. Okay, so now we're gonna take the bigger like little ring, and we're gonna place it at the end of the heat shrink, just like this. Not on the sleeving, but on the heat shrink itself. This will prevent the cable from being pulled out of the mouse. So once it's in the correct position, heat it up. It will probably move a bit because it shrinks. Just adjust it like this, and then we can continue heating it up. Don't heat it up for too long, just like small steps like this, and then we're gonna put it in the little socket. And because there's glue on the inside, we can push it in and it will take the shape of the little socket. I like to bend the stress relief a bit upwards so the cable doesn't drag on the mouse pad. So just let it cool down for a couple of seconds. That should be fine. So now we're gonna test if the shell still fits on the bottom plate, and it does perfectly. Okay, so we're gonna look at this little button and make sure not to lose it, because I've almost lost it in the first recording. It's the DPI button and it's just loose on the bottom plate, so keep an eye on that. We're gonna route the cable one more time. This is the final time you'll do this, so do it good. Make sure it's not on top of any pins, just between them, and then put back the PCB. Connect the cable. There we go. And don't forget to put back this little piece of plastic on the scroll wheel with the little 4 pins. You just push it back in like this. Make sure it's in the correct position. Check if the scroll wheel still works. And it's time to put it back together. First the 3 screws on the PCB. Make sure the cable does not get in the way of the shell. Put back the little cable that connects the top and bottom shell. And just push it in. It will snap back into place, and then you can put back the 4 screws on the bottom of the mouse. And that's basically it. So if you have any more questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section below. and thanks for watching. And remember, if you need a new paracord cable, head over to mastergear.nl. We ship in whole Europe, and we've got some crazy new products coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. So once again, thanks for watching and good luck.